Welcome to this explainer. I've been genuinely curious lately. What if the whole modern mantra of radical transparency is actually your absolute biggest vulnerability as a leader? Today, we're diving into an ancient playbook from the Indian polymath and royal advisor Chanakya. We're going to unpack his timeless advice to his protege, the Emperor Chandragupta, and discover exactly how to protect your personal and professional boundaries by mastering the lost art of silence. Picture this, right? Chandragupta is sitting by a river, looking restless, kind of confused. He turns to his mentor and asks, "Is it really best to keep everything inside? Sometimes I feel like if I just vent and tell people everything, my heart will feel lighter." Well, Chanakya smiles and delivers this profound warning. He explains that the world is incredibly harsh to people who might have pure intentions, but just fail to control their speech. Broadcasting every single emotion, plan, or sorrow without thinking, it doesn't bring relief, it brings ruin, and ultimately it destroys your chances at long-term organizational success.
So here's our blueprint for today. 1. The price of oversharing. 2. Guarding your base. 3. Protecting your strategy. 4. Managing public perception. 5. Mastering emotional discretion. And 6. The power of silence.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the price of oversharing and why transparency can actually be a trap. Think about it like this. Speaking is easy, right? Literally anyone can do it. But staying silent, that is an absolute art form. Chandragupta thought oversharing would lighten his heart, but Chanakya warned that's a really dangerous illusion. I mean, you wouldn't leave your life savings just sitting out on the sidewalk, so why leave your inner thoughts exposed to the public? The safety of your wealth depends entirely on the lock on the safe, and the safety of your leadership depends entirely on the lock on your lips. Moving on to section 2, guarding your base. This covers secrets 1 and 2, dealing with internal problems and assets. It's a fascinating contrast, and it really makes you curious about human nature. Exposing your internal disputes basically invites people to tear you down, while flashing your wealth simply paints a massive target on your back for opportunists. When you show the cracks in your house, whether that's a family dispute or internal team friction, outsiders don't come to glue the pieces back together for you. They come to pry them further apart. And similarly, when you show off your wealth or your resources, you aren't inspiring people. You're just inviting greed and envy. Chanakya uses 2 incredibly powerful parables here. First, an older brother complains to the village council about his younger sibling. And the result? The whole family's reputation is absolutely destroyed, and people start isolating their children from them. Because let's be real, people want juicy gossip. They don't want to offer genuine compassion. In the second story, a king proudly shows off his treasure rooms to his court. Literally within days, a neighboring kingdom hears about it, invades, and loots everything. True leaders fix their structural issues and secure their assets in total privacy. That's how you ensure long-term stability. All right, section 3, protecting your strategy, looking at secrets 3 and 4, plans and weaknesses. Imagine you're the spice merchant. He planned to open a grand spice shop and was so insanely excited that he told all his friends, relatives, and neighbors. But a cunning listener took that exact idea, opened a similar shop in the exact same spot a week earlier, and captured the entire market. If you broadcast your moves before you actually make them, you are literally just handing your blueprint to the competition. An unexecuted idea is just a seed that anyone can steal. The preparation phase is for silence, guys, not for showing off.
And it's the exact same deal with your anxieties. Sharing them only arms the people who might one day stand across from you. There's this story of a warrior who confessed to his closest comrade that he was utterly terrified of enemy arrows, asking him to keep him near the back during battles. But when that comrade, the one person he trusted the most, later defected to the enemy's side, well, he knew exactly where to aim. He ordered his archers to target that specific warrior, who was defeated without even putting up a fight.
So here is the massive takeaway. Your vulnerabilities are only safe as long as they remain entirely inside your own head. Weakness is a weapon for your enemies the literal moment it's spoken aloud. When you confess a weakness, sure, people might be supportive, as long as you're useful to them. But the moment you aren't, or the moment they become a rival, that confessed weakness becomes their sharpest weapon against you. A true leader hides their fears behind a sword, and their wounds behind a smile.
Which brings us to section 4, managing public perception. Secrets 5 and 6, covering charity and defeats.
100. That is the exact number of cows a king boastfully gave away to Brahmins in what Chanakya considered a totally ego-driven PR stunt. The king announced his massive donation to the entire court, basically just fishing for applause. But that night, a wise elder appeared in his dream and told him that his loud boasting had erased all the virtue of his gift.
When you announce your charity, it stops being about helping others and becomes 100% about feeding your own ego.
It's the classic showdown, right? Look at the difference between the loose-tongued leader seeking applause and the discreet executive whose quiet philanthropy just speaks for itself. Chanakya teaches that charity should be like a lamp burning in the dark. Whether anyone actually sees it or not, it's providing light. If your right hand gives something, your left hand shouldn't even know about it. True impact doesn't require a press release. Furthermore, broadcasting your setbacks might win you some temporary pity, but it conditions your market and your peers to just expect you to fail again. Chanakya shares the story of a warrior who lost a battle and went village to village complaining that he was cheated. At first, people offered sympathy, but eventually, he became a total joke. And when he finally stepped onto the battlefield again, the crowd was already waiting for him to lose. Refusing to play the victim is an absolutely critical professional boundary. It protects a leader's long-term reputation way better than loud complaints ever could. Let's dive into Section 5, Mastering Emotional Discretion. Secret 7, Hiding Your Core Feelings. The human mind is your greatest mystery. And if you leave the front door wide open, you're going to be the first one to break. If you reveal who you're angry at, that info will inevitably reach your enemies. If you reveal who you're deeply attached to, well, rivals will know exactly what to target to distract you. And if you showcase your emotional pain, opportunists will start circling, just looking for ways to profit off your vulnerability. Let's actually trace how this exploitation cycle plays out. The second you tell someone who you are angry at or attached to, you are handing them the exact blueprint to disrupt your organizational stability. Just like exposed wealth loses its value because it's vulnerable to theft, exposed emotions make you vulnerable to manipulation. You've got to keep your feelings guarded. Share them only with those who are completely selfless, which, let's be honest, is incredibly rare. For literally everyone else, offer a calm smile and total silence. Finally, Section 6, the power of silence, the ultimate executive armor. Bringing all of these ancient secrets together, we arrive at the ultimate characteristic of a successful leader. The grand conclusion of Chanakya's teaching to Chandragupta isn't about being cold or emotionless. Not at all. It's about absolute control. A true king burns like fire inside, but remains as cool as shade on the outside. You have to channel that intense passion and drive internally while projecting absolute calm and unreadable composure externally. That contrast, that's what makes a leader truly unbreakable. So keep your internal conflicts and your wealth to yourself. Let your completed actions, not your unexecuted plans, speak for you. Bury your fears where enemies can't find them. Do your good deeds without fishing for applause. Transform your defeats into quiet fuel and fiercely guard those core emotions. This executive armor doesn't just protect you in the moment. It is the exact blueprint that guarantees long-term organizational success in a very volatile world. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought about your own professional boundaries. In a world that is constantly begging you to overshare, silence is actually your ultimate strategic advantage. Think about the plans, the frustrations, or the fears you were totally about to text a colleague or vent about today. Keep them in the safe. Lock them down. Protect your power. What will you choose to keep silent today? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into executive discretion, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.